Nice to be here.
Let me ask you, this is a statewide race, but outside of legal circles, it seems to me, it doesn't generate the type of publicity as the governor's race or maybe even the auditor or treasurer's races. What's the biggest challenge out on the campaign trail trying to educate Ohioans about the Supreme Court and particularly this spot, which is not the Chief Justice, it's merely a justice position on the High Court?
Trying to explain the purpose of a Supreme Court. And people are very open to hearing about it. The minute I start talking about what the Supreme Court does and why we are there as a third co-equal branch of government, and I talk about the cases that affect everyday, ordinary citizens, they are eager and they just gobble it up.
I guess the question becomes, in a year that seems to be trending Republican, how do you defeat an incumbent Republican justice? Do you have enough time and enough campaign funds to get that name out in a lower profile race?
Well, I make the time. I do my day job as a Court of Appeals judge. I hop in the car and 65,000 miles later, I've been around the state. I talk to people like you, people like my friends in the print media, and go to community events. That's how you get your name out. It truly is grassroots politics, and that's what Democrats are known for.
Kind of a philosophical question. Justice Lanziger says she's a strong advocate of separation of power between the judicial branch, judges, and the legislature, lawmakers. Do you share that? That seems to be a common theme, particularly among Republican candidates for these judicial positions, that judges shouldn't be making laws. They should merely be interpreting the ones that lawmakers pass.
But that's absolutely true. That's the beauty of what the Founding Fathers did in setting up three co-equal branches of government. I explain to people when I talk about what's been termed as the least understood branch of government, that judges are not legislators in black robes. We are there as the ultimate bulwark to protect people from government through the Constitution.
James.
We've had other candidates on this show coming into editorial boards, and consistently the theme is jobs and the economy. Supreme Court's a little bit of a different animal, but do you think a justice on the Supreme Court has any responsibility to help make the economy better, and if so, how do they discharge that responsibility?
Well, I think help making the economy better is best served by those who make policy. Judges don't make policy. We interpret the law. We interpret the Constitution and make sure that those laws are constitutional. But it's up to the General Assembly, it's up to the executive branch to set that economic policy. A judge should not be advancing one side or another. They should not be advancing the interests of business in order to help the economy.
Judge,
that's up to the legislature.
Judge, there's a dust-up around the state and in the region about how Ohio elects judges and justices. You're nominated in partisan primaries, but you appear on the ballot without party affiliation. Why shouldn't Ohio voters be able to know what party justice candidate comes from if we're going to have this elected system? If I knew you were a Democrat or if I knew you were a Republican, it seems that that allows the voters to know at least something about what the candidate stands for. Why do we have this kind of mishmash system, and wouldn't it be better to change it?
I agree. Since 1911, we have decided that we are going to have judges run in a partisan primary and have their labels on the ballot, and judges are able to explain and declare their party affiliation. But then the minute we're elected in a primary, that all goes away. And I believe that the voters in Ohio deserve to know and have more information about their judicial candidates, not less.
Do you think there should be party labels on the general election ballot then?
I am not going to give an opinion about that issue because that's currently pending in the Southern District of Ohio. But in terms of party affiliation, so that I'm able to state in public that I'm a member of the Democratic Party and put that on my literature, I do believe that voters deserve that.
Just a quick follow-up. justices earlier this summer voted 5-0 to allow candidates to do just that, to identify with political parties. Your opponent did not vote on that. You're saying that would you not have voted as well as a candidate? Do you not feel comfortable offering a position on that?
Well, I think it's appropriate for a judge or a justice to recuse themselves, to say, I'm not going to participate in this decision when I have a vested interest in the outcome. And that's something that I have been advocating since the day that I announced my candidacy on September 16th. I believe that the Supreme Court has missed a golden opportunity to make a large step in restoring faith and confidence in our justice system by advocating a stronger recusal policy across the board, be it on administrative matters like this disciplinary matter or the decisions that the court makes.
If you were elected, or even if you're not, would you advocate for a merit system like the late Chief Justice Thomas Moyer wanted to have, and move Ohio away from this hybrid mishmash that we have now?
I think that we need, especially since the Brennan Center report came out and looked at 10 years of Supreme Court races in the state.
Lots of money.
We now rank second in the country in the millions of dollars that could be going to a lot of other beneficial things. We need to take a very strong look at the way we elect judges. But the problem with the merit selection plan that's on the table now is that it is a table without all of the legs. Unless you take a look at not only merit selection, but public financing of judicial races, increased distribution of voter guides, nonpartisan voter guides that give people real information about a candidate, not just 30-second sound bites, and a stronger recusal policy. And with public financing, there needs to be total disclosure and transparency of who's supporting, who is funding these multi-million-dollar media campaigns. Until all of that is thoroughly discussed, we're not going to make any advances in the state. It's interesting that the states that have merit selection are now talking about reverting back to elections. The states like ours that have elections are now talking about merit selection. So it's a bigger picture than just one plan or another. But we need to have that discussion.
To go back to the jobs and the economy issue, the Ohio Chamber is backing your opponent and probably will spend a lot of money on ensuring her re-election. Their line is, well, we need to have a stable and predictable judiciary in order to promote a good economy in Ohio, and that having justices whose positions are known ensures that. Can you respond to that, or would you lead to a less stable judiciary if you were elected?
Well, having practiced law for 25 years, becoming a judge the old-fashioned way, I too want predictability and stability in our court. We adhere to precedent. And the concern that I've had, and in fact, Chief Justice Moyer dissented in 4 cases, 2 of which were authored by my opponent, where he dissented because the court was moving away from long-standing precedent. The whole idea is to have some sort of predictability. When you have far swings to the left or far swings to the right, it doesn't benefit everyone.
Judge, we're just about out of time. Just in 10 seconds, do you believe there is enough diversity on the High Court as Ohio looks at the Supreme Court? Is there enough diversity on that bench?
I don't believe so, and that's the reason why I'm running. Chief Justice Moyer told the Dispatch about a year ago that the reason why we have a multi-judge court is to have diversity of background, experience, and philosophy. And he said the perception of Ohioans with what was then an all-Republican Supreme Court is that we don't have that. And he gave me the push that I needed to run.
Very good. Judge, nice to meet you.